And we're back. I'm Dawn Watson, and this is Right Now on the East End. Today, we're very happy to have a special guest with Dennis Fabiszak of the East Hampton Library. Dennis is the executive director of the library. Welcome, Dennis.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Thank you. I'm so glad you're here myself. We're going to talk today about Authors Night, which is a huge annual event. And full disclosure, I'm actually part of that event, have been for a few years on the Author Selection Committee. So just so everyone knows that. But I personally think it's such a fabulous event, and I wanted to bring you in here to talk about what's going on now and how it's going to change a little bit this year.
Sure. We've had to completely transition the event. This is our 16th year doing Authors Night, and with the pandemic, we obviously couldn't do an in-person event, right. So we've transitioned to a completely virtual event this year.
So for those of us who are maybe not locals, but maybe who are catching this on YouTube, who have picked up the LTV channel there, let's talk a little bit about what the event has been in the past and where we're pivoting for the pandemic. So first, like in broad strokes, in the last few years, what's the event like?
Sure. Authors Night normally takes place on a large field in Amagansett. We have 95 authors signing copies of their books. There's a big cocktail party going on. We have somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 guests at the event. That goes on for about 2.5 hours, and then many of the guests go off to dinners where there's a guest of honor author at each dinner at various estates.
Okay. And I know from years past, we were just talking off camera about some of the antics of the dinner parties, which are sometimes even more highly of interest, let's say, to the news that covered the event than sometimes even the event, not really the actual event. But we've gotten publicity. You've gotten publicity for the event for like People Magazine, USA Today,
yep.
New York Times. Yeah. I still remember... what's that photographer's name with the blue jacket? I love him. He passed, but he did the style section. Bob Cunningham?
Yes.
Yes. I remember him kind of scuttling around. It was kind of cool to see that. Yeah. One thing, talking about the pandemic pivot, going from out from under the tent to what's going to happen now, there is one broad, bright star to this, and that is that we're not under the tent and I'm not sweating buckets. It is hot.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about lightning, rain.
Exactly.
Air conditioning. Yeah.
People getting Lyme disease walking from their car to the tent, which I don't think has ever happened, but it's always a worry. The event is usually this in August, like 8th, 9th, 10th. That's
we're always
Saturday.
The second Saturday of August, so that we don't compete with other local fundraising events.
Right, which is difficult to schedule.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about now how the event this year is different. So what's happening now?
So one of the really special parts of Authors Night is the conversation that goes on at the dinners. And the dinners are all fairly intimate. The largest dinner has 40 or 50 people at it. Some of them are as small as 16 people in the past. And there's an author at the dinner. They're usually asked questions by an interviewer, and then the guests get to ask one-on-one questions. And you really get contact and conversation with the author that you wouldn't get anywhere else.
Right.
So we've decided to bring that to a virtual environment. We've put together 12 virtual conversations that are going to be hosted on Zoom, and guests can purchase tickets for one or more of the conversations. And again, they'll be intimate, where most of them will be around 20 guests. A few may have a few more. We've signed up some great interviewers for each of the authors. So the first half of each conversation will be an interview, and then we'll open it up for the guests to ask their own questions.
So in this Zoom call, is it going to be the author and the interviewer, obviously on separate screens because they're not going to be together because we're all socially distancing. We are socially distancing here as well. We are far apart in the studio, and we're taking special precautions to make sure we're not doing anything untoward. So they're going to be separate on the Zoom call, and then just like, the way they go, is everyone on the call going to be shown as well? Yeah,
so I'll be on each call controlling the Zoom session and making sure everybody that's on are the people that are supposed to be on, and we don't have anybody hacking in. We'll have a host for each, just like we used to have dinner hosts. We'll actually have a Zoom host, the interviewer and the author.
Wow, okay.
And then we'll have the guests will also be visible. We'll put it in spotlight view so that you see the author and the interviewer up on the screen full for their part of the interview. But then when we open it up to the guests, I'll allow them to take turns asking questions.
Cool. That's awesome. So how long will these virtual sessions last?
Each one is an hour.
Okay. So we got about half an hour of talk and then, or a little bit more, and then Q&A after.
And then Q&A. And
Okay.
then we're doing them on multiple days. Where in the past, Authors Night all happened on one afternoon and evening. This year, we're doing it on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And there are 3 different time slots for each of the days to make it easier for people to pick and choose which ones they want to attend.
Oh, that's awesome. And I know that these are going to be live.
Yeah.
Some might be recorded and shared again later, or is that correct?
Yeah, we're working hard to convince all of the authors to let us record them because we really would like to make them available at some point on our YouTube page, maybe even run them on LTV.
Yeah.
And for some of the authors are willing to do that. Some of them are a little hesitant, but we're working hard to twist their arms so that we can get them all to be available.
Well, they might, after they see what the session looks like, if you can record it at least internally, they might be okay once they see that.
Yeah.
I think usually people only have problems with when they're worried they've made some sort of gaffe, right? So I do want to tell briefly who the authors are who are going to be highlighted. Do you want me to say that, or do you want to go through the list?
If you want to go, you can list them off.
Okay, so we have Julie Andrews and Emma Walton Hamilton. Amazing. And they're going to be interviewed by our friend Bridget Leroy.
Yeah.
That's cool. That
Can't
is
wait.
on, I know, it's going to be a fun one,
Yeah.
I'm sure. That's Friday, August 7th from 4 to 5 p.m. Also, Mike Birbiglia, and that's really cool. And he's going to be interviewed by Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
And that is Saturday, August 8th from 4 to 5 p.m. His book is called New One. I guess I should also say the book that Julie and Emma are going to talk about is Homework, a memoir of my Hollywood years. Then we've got Bob Caro, who's got another book out working, and he's going to be interviewed by another Authors Night perennial, Douglas Brinkley, right?
Yes. And Bob he's deep into writing the 5th Lyndon Johnson book. Wow. If you
That's a
notice,
huge book.
He's one of the few historians that hasn't been on the news in the last 6 months because he really doesn't want to be involved in what's going on in politics today because he's really so focused on the research he's doing and the writing he's doing. And
Well, it's a really deep dive that he's doing. So I understand you can't have the distractions otherwise, then you just get stuck on the distractions and somehow you're checking your Facebook and your email and not writing. Right. Cool. So Bob Caro is going to be Saturday, August 8th from 6 to 7. Also Harlan Coben, and he is going to talk about The Boy from the Woods, and he's also going to be interviewed by Bridget Leroy.
Right, absolutely.
And that's Thursday, August 6th from 8 to 9 p.m. And Neil Gabler, right? Gabler. Sorry, Neil. He's going to talk about Catching the Wind, the Edward Kennedy and the Liberal Hour, 1932 to 1975, and he's interviewed by Bob Spitz.
Yeah.
Now, these are 2 new people, right?
They're new. Harlan Coben's also brand new. We've never had him. We've tried a number of years to get him to come, and finally, with it going virtual, we were able to get him.
That's amazing. Okay, I'm excited about that too. Also, another person I've interviewed, I know, and he is a riot, is Steve Madden.
Yeah.
So the famous shoe guy, and he's going to talk about his book, The Cobbler: How I Disrupted an Industry, Fell from Grace, and Came Back Stronger Than Ever. That is going to be probably a pretty wild ride.
That's going to be great, and a little tidbit that's not available online. There may be gift bags to the people that attend that event.
Nice. Nice.
Coming from the company. So
cool. I still own a pair of leopard skin ballet flats from Steve Madden that are circa 1980 something, and I put them in a special little box. And anyway, he's interviewed by Stacey Griffith, and that's going to be Saturday, August 8th from 8 to 9. Allison Pataki, a returning favorite. She's going to come and talk about her new book, The Queen's Fortune, a novel of desire, Napoleon, and the dynasty that outlasted the empire. And that is with Ken Lepper. Awesome. Who is a big part of the library for forever.
Yeah.
Thursday, August 6th, 4 to 5. I feel like I'm dominating this with all of these great authors. I hope you don't mind.
We're also having Allison's father, former Governor George Pataki.
Yes, he's the next
who
one.
I was really, really looking forward to having the event under the tent. I got them to sign on in January and was going to have them seated next to each other. Great to have a father and daughter, both authors, sitting next to each other at the event. But since that couldn't happen, we've convinced them to be part of the Zoom event together.
That's awesome.
So Ken is going to interview both of them.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So he's going to be the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if we had it under the tent, he could practically be the tent pole. He is 6'8" or something, isn't he? He's super tall. Nice also. So he's Thursday, August 6th, 4 to 5 p.m. as well. And the book that he's talking about is Beyond the Great Divide, How a Nation Became a Neighborhood. Okay, and I know we've got some new people who just have been confirmed. So this
Yes.
is like late breaking news. Daryl Pinckney
Yep.
is going to come and speak about, well, come on Zoom. He's going to speak about Busted in New York and other essays. A lot of essays he's written about being black in America, basically, right?
Yeah, the current racial divide
Yeah.
and things that are going on.
I'm
We're
excited
really
about
excited
that.
about them.
Yeah. Sunday, August 9th from 6 to 7 p.m. And 2 more, I think, 3 more. Goodness. Philip Rucker, you want to talk about him and his book?
Sure. Philip Rucker, we have tried to have him in the past also, and this is the first time we were able to get him. Sheila Rogers, who's the chair of the library,
Yeah.
is actually hosting that event. And Lynn Scher, who we've had a number of times at the event, is going to be the guest interviewer for Philip. So
Wow.
we're really excited. He's on the news every day.
Yeah.
We're fortunate he's taking some time out to participate in our event.
That's amazing.
But you'll be able to ask him his own questions when he's normally the one asking people questions. We're excited.
And he's going to be talking about his book, A Very Stable Genius, Donald J. Trump's Testing of America. So that is August 6th, 8 to 9. I'm sure that's going to be another big... All of these people are huge. Like, this is like the A-list of the A-list of Authors Night.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's amazing. Rounding it out, we have J. Courtney Sullivan, and she's going to talk about Friends and Strangers, a novel, and she's going to be interviewed by Zibby Owens.
Yeah, so Zibby has been a sponsor in the past with our podcast, Moms Who Don't Have Time to Read.
Yeah, I remember
She's done a huge amount of interviews,
Mm-hmm.
and she actually was able to reach out to Jay Courtney and get her involved. She's a New York Times bestselling author. We haven't had her before. It's going to be really, really interesting
Wow.
conversation.
This is a great mix of people.
Yeah.
Great mix. So she's going to be Thursday, August 6th from 6 to 7 p.m. And I think oh my goodness, 2 more. Eric K. Washington, and he's going to talk about Boss of the Grips, the life of James H. Williams, and the Red Caps of, I know that book, and the Red Caps of Grand Central Terminal.
Yeah, so Eric K. Washington is a historian, and he's written a really wonderful book. We haven't had him at the event before also, so we're really interested in getting him involved. And we're also going to look at maybe getting him involved in our Long Island collection and some things we're doing
Wow.
at the library after the event.
Good. And when we're done with this, we'll talk about where you can find out information on all of these things too.
Sure.
Eric's talk is Friday, August 7th from 6 to 7 p.m. And then we're going to finish up with a perennial Authors Night attendee and fabulous interviewee, Dr. Ruth. Dr. Ruth K. Westheimer is going to come talk about Sex for Dummies, Roller Coaster Grandma, and Heavenly Sex. These are 3 of her books. And she's going to be interviewed by Patty Kenner, who is also part of this event, Entrenched.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
Sunday, August 9th, 4 to 5. Tell us more about that.
Patty Kenner and I are going to share the interview with Dr. Ruth.
Get
She's promised
ready.
me she won't embarrass me too much on Zoom.
Get ready.
So it's going to be a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
She's wonderful. She just turned 92.
Yeah, she's a hoot.
She actually has 4 books in print right now that she wants to talk about all at the same time. And, she's one of the hardest working authors that we have
Yeah.
and that I've ever met. She's
Yeah.
amazing.
She's a real iconoclast, too. I think she started talking about sex when nobody else would.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I can't believe we're almost out of time. This is crazy. But I do want to talk about a few things that I know are important to you and to me. Tell me about what's happening with books. You usually sell books during the event, but this year it's going to be a little different because of the virtual aspect.
Yeah, so we decided not to do books. Normally the publishers donate all of the books at Authors Night, which is around 7,000 or 8,000 books.
It's a
and
lot
then the
of
library
box
sells
lifting,
them and
right.
we make money off of the books.
Right.
But with shipping being so crazy in the pandemic, we decided logistically it would be difficult to get the books to all of the guests. And we also realized that a lot of the local bookstores are hurting.
Yeah.
We have Book Hampton right down the street from the library. And we decided it would be better to not do books with the event and just encourage all of the guests to go to Bookhampton or whatever local bookstore is their favorite and purchase the book from them. And,
Cool.
That it's just the time that everybody needs help.
Yeah.
And if our event can help the bookstores out, all the better.
Well, this is, I think, one of the things that might have a real positive impact from the pandemic is that we are finding ways to pivot and maybe doing things a little bit better.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then let me see, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about. Let's talk about how we can purchase tickets to this event.
Sure.
So give us the site.
The site is www.authorsnight.org. We also have a large mailing list. We're sending out email blasts about it. But all of the authors are listed on the website, and you can click through, and we're selling tickets this year through Eventbrite.
Okay.
So everything is going fairly well. Some of them are already really close to selling out.
Well, that's a big thing we want to
so
say
that's
because
something that's important.
seats are limited.
Seats are
So,
really
I mean, I
limited.
know it's a virtual event, but seats are limited. So buy your tickets now. I've been closed out of some of these things in years past, and I'm on the committee.
Yeah,
Right? So you got to buy the tickets now. Buy them now.
Yep.
Authorsnight.org.
And one more thing.
Yes.
For the first time ever, we're going to comp some high school students. So we're going to offer a limited number of seats to high school students for free to attend each of these conversations, where we haven't had high school students attend any of the dinners in the past.
Only hauling books, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So since this is virtual, we thought it would be great to include some high school students in each of the events, so they can email me. It's just dennis@easthamptonlibrary.org. Let me know what they're interested in and why, and I'll be assigning some of them seats at these events.
That's amazing. It's important that we continue to cultivate readership from an early age. Reading is fundamental, as we all know, and I think this is a great way to involve even more of the community. So email dennis@easthamptonlibrary.org. If you want to buy tickets, go to authorsnight.org. This is going to be rebroadcast, I think, on the library site somewhere.
Yep, absolutely.
Obviously, we'll live on here in LTV and YouTube. I will be putting it on social media. Thank you so much for coming, Dennis.
Thank
This has
you.
been a treat.
Thanks.